back to CBS News, American news that you can trust. Hear that? That's God Bless America. God Bless America is one of Americans' many patriotic war songs made to boost morale in the fighting ground. As well as patriotic songs, military jazz bands were also formed to help boost spirits for our hardworking American soldiers in the midst of battle. Since 1940, 96% of American households have a radio and constantly listen to music and newscasts, just like this one. Music gained a lot of popularity during the interwar years, which were the years between the end of World War I and the start of the war today. People across the world have been listening to music, and even in Germany, about 60% of households own a radio and listen to German music. In fact, one of the most famous songs that was produced during this war is a German song. It was produced in 1939 and is called Little Marlene. Germany uses this song as entertainment and propaganda. It has been widely spread throughout Germany as well as England once the English version was recorded. Music has also had great effects in our wonderful United States of America during these hard times. On the home front, our amazing American singers are creating music used to make U.S. citizens calm and hopeful for the return of their loved ones. Sadly, although music on the battleground gave Americans a sense of home and nature, it also brought nostalgia and homesickness. As you can see, music really adapted and changed a lot with war, and it will continue to evolve as the U.S. keeps fighting and saving the rest of the world. Now let's hear about a surprise subject with Justin.
Thanks, Sophie. Boy, am I excited for today's surprise subject. Drum roll, please. Rationing. Rationing is the setting of limits on purchasing of high-demand items. Being involved in the World War due to the Japanese shocking and atrocious bombing of our naval base Pearl Harbor has forced our government to take wartime precautions. Among these precautions is rationing. President Franklin D. Roosevelt has felt it necessary to ration items such as automobiles, tires, gasoline, fuel oil, coal, firewood, nylon, silk, shoes, meat, dairy, coffee, dried fruits, jams, jellies, and lard. As Americans, each of us have been distributed rationing cards and stamps, which guarantee us our share of classic household items and foods. While many of us may not enjoy the meager rations we have been receiving, we must remember, as an American, that is necessary for our great country. Rationing ensures that there is no waste among important resources so that the U.S. Army and the U.S. people can sustain themselves. Our loved ones are off at a war, risking their lives for our safety. The least we can do is limit the amount of jam we use on our toast. Cheers to the red, white, and blue. Now let's shoot it on back to you, Sophie.
A toast to you on that wonderful section about rationing, Justin. I love how Americans are supporting all of the resources we have saved for our amazing soldiers by rationing. Now let's hear what Caitlin has to say about women's role back in America to help support the war.
Thanks, Justin, for informing us about rationing. I think we all know the struggle. Now let's talk about women in America right now. Before the war started, women struggled to find job opportunities because women are supposed to stay in the house and take care of the children. It's what we do best. You know what they say, a very common male fantasy is to have two women at the same time, one to cook and one to clean. However, with all of our sons and husbands and brothers in the war, someone needs to fill their place. Many factory jobs have opened up for women as the factories need to stay producing because they are supporting our military by making many of their weapons, aircrafts, cars, and many other things. There's a need for women in the workforce, and I encourage many of the women out there watching to look for jobs. Support our country through this war. If we can't be one of the 350,000 women on the field, then we can help in other ways. Don't worry, this won't ruin our femininity. I know my husband was concerned about this when I expressed my desire to join the workforce. Many factories are offering makeup lessons for the working women. African American women, along with other minority groups, still struggle to find jobs. Okay, moving on. There are more than just factory jobs as well. With many of our men valiantly fighting in the war, there are many job opportunities open. You can do things like driving a cab, working for the post office, or even doing repairs on cars or trains to help with transportation for the military. Now, before our last section, let's see this video from our sponsor.
Oh my gosh, you're back home from work. Look, I made us dinner.
Boy, That looks delicious.
Aren't the rationings great this week?
Yes, I do love my government. What's going on in the world this week?
Oh, I don't know. I've just been in the kitchen all day.
I heard Germany invaded Poland.
What a shame.
This is terrible for the economy.
What are you gonna do?
It is my duty as an American man to join the U.S. military.
Oh, don't I just love my husband?
Honey, I have to go to war.
No, honey, stay with me. But I guess if it's for the good of our country, go fight. Go save the world with that American blood in you. What am I supposed to do when my husband isn't here?
Hey you look like an able-bodied woman. Do you want to work in one of my factories?
I can't, I'm just a woman.
We need you.
Thank you, Caitlin, and thank you, Ford, for that amazing video. Aiden, let's hear about our new and improved factory.
The automotive industry has already begun perfecting the concept of mass production to meet consumer demand, and engineers would find this tool to be very useful as wartime came abroad. As previously discussed, women have begun filling up those empty seats once occupied by men to aid in such mass production. American factories have started shifting gears towards the war effort after the ever-increasing demand of armament for the Allied forces. Ford Motor Company, famous for their Model T car, has begun repurposing their factories across the country to produce bomber aircraft for strategic bombing over Axis-occupied territory, land vehicles for overseas operations, and ammunition for millions of our brave soldiers in foreign land. With the help of federal enforcement, all essential resources have been allocated towards distribution amongst Allied soldiers and factories alike. Not only will war on the home front be manageable with our seemingly abundant resources, but Americans from all over the country are flooding into the factories in search of work during these treacherous times. A notable manufacturing complex located in Michigan known as Willow Run has reports of manufacturing the B-24 Liberator every 63 minutes, which equates to 24 planes a day. With that determination, we're on track to ending this war before we know it. Modern manufacturing has also turned its eye to new military weapons with the advances made in the science discipline. Rumors of a secret Manhattan Project spread with information regarding a bomb that would level cities in the blink of an eye. With all that said, let's take it back to our anchor.
Well, that is all, folks. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back next week with some more updates on the war.